About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran." The truth is about the Middle East is, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa. Nobody is threatening to intervene in Africa. The problem is the opposite. We keep asking for people to intervene and stop it. And there's no question that the presence of petroleum throughout the region has sparked great power involvement. Whether that was the specific motivation for the coup or not, I can't tell you, but there's always been this attitude that somehow we could intervene and use force in the region.
Hello, fellow Gentiles. We are at the most critical point of human history. We are facing the possibility of World War III. And why are we facing the possibility of World War III? Because the U.S. government is in Syria backing terrorist groups against the government of Syria. The United States of America has no alliance with anyone in Syria, has no UN permission to be in Syria, was not invited there by the Syrian people, but is now threatening a no-fly zone over Syria against the Syrian people and the Russians, which would result in World War III. The American people are bankrupt. Their jobs are going overseas. The Constitution is in shambles. The people don't trust the police. The media inspires hatred between the races and between men and women, and especially suspicion about all Muslim males as being terrorists. And now, because the Russians have decided to stop America from destroying another Muslim nation, the Russians themselves are being demonized at every possible turn. The Russians were almost banned from the Olympics. Even crippled Russians were banned from the Paralympic Games. The Russians are being sanctioned continuously. Missile defense systems put all around them, which Putin says is a threat to the survival of his people, and that he cannot allow that threat to go overlooked. We are threatening the world with destruction because of our foreign policy. But why would this be our goal to antagonize Russia, to antagonize China, to demonize all Muslims? What would be the purpose behind all of this? You know, who gains from all of this? Who controls our media and our government? Who wants all Muslim males seen as being dangerous, as being terrorists? Who wants Russia to be stopped from ending the campaign of terrorism in the Middle East? Who wants all of these Muslim nations to be invaded and destroyed? Who could possibly gain from that? What entity could have so much hatred towards Muslims to want their nations destroyed, one by one, their governments turned over, terrorists unleashed on them, the U.S. military at constant war with Muslim nations? Who would benefit from this? And who could have the power to make this happen? The Balfour Declaration. Israelite leaders said to Britain, if you promise us Palestine, we will get the United States of America involved in the war. The British agreed, and America was delivered into war. World War II. The Germans were being crushed by the payments they had to make for World War I. And they were being hit with more sanctions against them. And a war, an economic war, was declared against them. And America one more time was at war. And now World War III. The Russians are trying to defend the Syrians against the terrorists of al-Nusra, al-Qaeda. And the U.S. government once again is being dragged into the fray. It is obvious who controls U.S. foreign policy. If you don't know, ask Cynthia McKinney. Ask the sailors on the USS Liberty. Ask the people on 9/11 who saw the dancing Israelis celebrating the fall of the Twin Towers. Ask them who has that much power that they can attack the U.S. government and no one says anything about it. Ask how they can be arrested with explosives at 9/11 in a van and not be arrested and sent back to Israel. Look at who is manipulating you. Gentiles by the millions are being manipulated into wars that do not serve their interests. This is no time to be afraid of telling the truth of who owns you, who owns your media. Every time you pick up a newspaper, it is Muslim terrorists, Muslim this, Muslims need to be invaded. Oh my God, Russia, Russia, Russia. These people are using their same tired stick to get you killed. Are you going to continue to fall for it? You've fallen for it every single time. You fell for it with Afghanistan. You fell for it with Iraq. You fell for it with Libya. And now you're trying to fall for it again. Every single war based on lies. 9/11 was an inside job. Rumsfeld was investigating $2.3 trillion missing from the Pentagon. After 9/11, nobody's investigating it anymore, are they? Because the Pentagon accounting offices were hit. You think a terrorist would stop an investigation of $2.3 trillion from the U.S. Treasury? No. Who would do that? It is the military-industrial complex working together with Israeli agents to get you in a series of wars that are not in your interest. You've lost your country. You've lost your constitution. You are spied on at every turn, which is unconstitutional. You have undeclared wars, which are unconstitutional. You have drone strikes, which are illegal. You committed genocide, killed over 1 million Iraqis. Who knows how many people you killed in Libya? How many you're trying to kill in Syria? Who knows? And there is a God. And you will stand before him on judgment day with the blood of millions on your hands for wars that were not defensive, that were not to save you and your lives for your children, but lives to make Israel happy. Lies for Israel and the military-industrial complex. That is what you are killing for. That is what you'll be judged on Judgment Day for. Your preachers are lying to you. They are telling you these are the chosen people. They are not. Look at your country. It is in shambles. Your nation works with Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra. Is that what God wants? Does God want the United States of America to murder people throughout the world? To drone strike people across the world, men, women, and children? To defend Israel, the UN, against dropping white phosphorus on civilians? Is that what God wants? God wants Americans to give land that America doesn't even own to Europeans to steal from the rightful owners, the Palestinians? That's what God wants? God is cursing us for our willingness to commit evil in his name. This is blasphemy. These people do not have any right to one piece of land in the Middle East. And we've not only stolen Palestinian land from them, we're helping them to destroy the other lands that they don't even want to live in, just so they can feel more secure. We are putting blood on our hands. Every preacher should be telling Gentiles the truth. You are earning a place in hell for supporting these people. They control your media. They control your government. They control your military. They control your neighbors, but they don't control you. God will show you the truth. These people are going to get you destroyed. They want you to not be a nation of people who believe in life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. No. They want you to believe in war, 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 nothing but war, war, death, destruction, everything sinful, everything satanic. That is what they want from you. You know these people are not the people of the Bible. You know this. Do you think that Moses would hang out with these people? Look at what they tell you. Look at what they show you in the media that they give you. All lies. You know better than this. Do not allow yourself to be manipulated into killing more people for these people. Do not take one more life for them. Do not support the stealing of Palestinian land so that robbers can live happy on the land that they know they do not deserve. Do not blaspheme God by saying this was done in his name, because it was not. And if you refuse to turn from the path we're on, we will be in World War III, Armageddon, Judgment Day. And I don't think a nation of people who support abortion, transgenderism, terrorism, working hand in hand with ISIS, genocide, I don't think a nation like that is ready for Judgment Day. Looking at America at what it is today, you understand why God had to unleash the flood when no man would do what was right. No man would do anything that wasn't evil or self-serving. We are in a time right now where even the church leaders are silent as the U.S. military murders people around the globe with our tax dollars, works hand in hand with ISIS, and no one has a problem with that. We torture, we murder, we drone. And no one has a problem with this. No one has any morality. No one cares about the Palestinian people. If we do not start caring as Jesus commanded, love others as you love yourself, if we do not do this, then we will all be Palestinians.
And how do you talk about Senator Warren? Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chop.